So I'm going to share my story, but I'd like to open it up and also hear from our team as well, because I know that there are not just my story. It started with my story. It certainly didn't end there. We have a lot of amazing CBD stories. And then lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about the sale that's happening right now, just to celebrate National CBD Day. So it's a little bit different than National Cannabis Day. We all know about 420, but not a lot of people know that 8/8 is a CBD oil day. So we're going to kick this off. All right. So first, I just want to say hi to everybody coming in from all over the place. I see people from Massachusetts. We've got Vegas in the house. We've got all kinds of people in the house. So thank you and welcome to this live. So, I'm just going to go back a few years. So before HempWorks even started, you guys, my daily choice was just barely getting off the ground. It was 2014, and I started dating Josh around July. So we launched the company in November. So we started dating just a few months before we launched. And, Josh was the first guy that I actually feel like nervous to be around. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh my God, I have to look good for you. Like, I've never felt like this before. I'm used to I'm the take it or leave it kind of person. And the craziest thing happened as we were just beginning to date. My hair started falling out. My skin is freaking out all over the place. Like literally everything that could go wrong in my health was all imploding at the same time. And I was only 28 years old at the time. And so at the time of my life, I could not figure out what was wrong. Doctors could not figure out what was wrong. In fact, I literally Google diagnosed myself, went back to the doctor, and they're like, oh yeah, that looks about right. So I think that's what it is. And of course, I'm going to be compliant here. I'm not going to share any disease names or anything like that. I'm just going to describe a little bit of what I was experiencing at the time. So just to put it into perspective, it felt like every hour of the day was 2 a.m. I was just absolutely exhausted. My body was not absorbing any nutrition whatsoever. They did a test to get all my blood levels and everything. 3 months later, they did the test and they said, your body's not absorbing anything. You're just like dwindling away at this point in time. So this is kind of what I'm experiencing as I'm just now into this new relationship. We're starting a new company and all this is happening. And they tell me I have to go on a special diet. So I wasn't overweight. I'd never been on a diet in my life. So this was like a weird thing for me. I went home and I remember opening my pantry and I'm like, okay, so I can't eat all of that. So that's amazing. So for the next 2 years, I went on this, diet journey, this quest of self-healing. And, over that next 2 years, I started feeling a little bit better, but honestly, like nothing major as far as an improvement goes. I was still on the search for something that was going to give me more relief. So in 2016, we moved to Las Vegas, and in Las Vegas, they had just started their medical marijuana program. Whatever medical marijuana means, I still can't figure that out. But I went on a quest to figure out, how to heal myself, basically. And, everywhere I looked, it seemed like cannabis was the answer. I remember I was sitting in a doctor's office and again, doing my Dr. Google search, and it said, cannabis is the cure. Now, I'm not allowed to tell you that that's the truth, but I can tell you that I was reading an article that said that. And so I left the doctor's office, got my medical marijuana card, went to the dispensary, and they said, oh yeah, try CBD, try THC, try all the cannabinoids, try them all. And so I went to all dispensaries, tried all kinds of different brands. And I remember I was on my 4th day of feeling extremely ill, and I didn't get much relief from CBD. So my immediate reaction was CBD doesn't work. I don't understand what the hype is. Like, it was like, it worked a little bit. And around that same time, Josh was manufacturing sprays, and the same people that were into sprays had a contact somewhere in Kentucky for this farm that was just starting to do clinical research there at the University of Kentucky. And they were extracting first of all, they converted all their tobacco fields to hemp fields, and started growing hemp for the purpose of extracting CBD. So he said, you know what? My wife is a perfect, test dummy for this. So I'm going to send her some of the samples and see what happens, because she's tried everything. Nothing's working. So let's see what happens. So I get these samples of this liquid gold, and within 7 days of trying this particular CBD oil, all of my symptoms began to reverse. Like literally, it was the most magical thing I had ever experienced, and I could not figure out if it was placebo. So at that time, I said, you know what, give me lots of samples of this. I need to test it out. I'm gonna go find the sickest, negative, most broken down people I could possibly find on the internet and in my personal circles. I gave them all samples, and within, again, like another week passed after they tried it, and I was getting so many testimonies flooding in, and it was like a miracle. And so at that point in time, I said, you know what, like we got to put this into my daily choice. Like this is what the people need. We've been sick for too long, and it's time to bring healing to the countries and to the world, you know? And so I went to Josh and I said, let's put it in MDC. He said, absolutely not. So HempWorks birthed itself all by itself. And we started it with just a few affiliates that we have here today. And that became the birth of HempWorks. Within 8 weeks, it grew to 100,000 people. We had hundreds and hundreds of orders coming in left and right. And literally every single person had an incredible testimony. So that became the beginning of HempWorks. And where we are today, HempWorks is still #1 in my daily choice. It's still the top selling brand. We have a lot of amazing brands now. We expanded, we diversified. We knew CBD was hot. And it may not always be hot. I mean, it's hot to us for sure forever, but we wanted to diversify. But HempWorks is still #1 in a company. We became the fastest growing company in 2018 in all of network marketing. And even today, we are still continually breaking records. So without further ado, I want to invite some of our other speakers on to share their testimonies. That's my quick story. I remember Josh said, what are you going to call this little business of yours? And I was like, HempWorks, because this hemp works. And, you know, and I wouldn't be here today without our loyal supporters, our customers, and all the people that gave HempWorks a shot. So kudos to all of you guys. And Amy, I see you're on here, so I would love to turn it over to you if you'd like to share a few words.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jenna. We are so grateful for you and this mission. This is truly a movement and a mission. Hemp is hope, as you see right here. And the fact that HempWorks is still here 6.5, 7 years later is incredible. You know, the CBD industry is still, like we always said, it was the Wild West, and it was so empowering. I know myself, and I see so many of my business partners still here. We call ourselves advocates of the plant because we're here to spread awareness and education. I remember coming on board 6 years ago, and it was like so empowering to be able to finally talk about this plant and offer people an alternative solution. And I just want to encourage you, if you're still here, if you've tried CBD and you're like, no, it hasn't worked for me, like it works. The plant works. And so it really does come down to choosing and using. So we want to invite you to get with a HempWorks representative so that we can guide you. I mean, I don't know any other company right now on National CBD Day offering credit for just shopping with us, for experiencing this. I mean, for myself, I just want to say I was at a crossroads when this crossed my path. I had just lost my career. It got swiped out from under me, and I was at home with the kids, and it was like, if you're someone that's wearing a lot of hats, as women we do, it becomes a lot. And for me, the CBD was like a breath of fresh air. Truly, I was able to respond instead of react. I was able to be a better mother. My kids started their preventative health measures. Sleep was great. And then so many people came on board just because of one story. So if you have a story today, share it out. Hashtag National CBD Day. Get in touch with some of your past clients, or maybe just someone that you love. Ask them the simple question, have you considered CBD? I promise you the conversation will go from there. And then it just comes down to choosing a quality product, which we have here, our topicals, our tinctures. We've only gotten better over the years. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of this mission. And thank you, Jenna, for everything. And we love the plant.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So one thing I want to say, just for the new people that maybe have not seen HempWorks before, why is HempWorks different? I just want to touch on that really quickly, and then I'm going to see if we have anybody else that would like to share a testimony. Hempworks is different because back in the day, even still, like Amy said, wild, wild west, what that actually means is there's just not a lot of regulation. It's a brand new industry for the United States. We've been in hemp before, of course, but ever since it's been prohibited, at least in the United States, it's been a little crazy trying to get regulations in place, which means you can go to a gas station and buy CBD. It could say CBD on the bottle. It doesn't actually have to have CBD in the bottle per current regulations. Now they're trying to change that, of course, but those laws and things take a long time to put together. Hempworks went above and beyond. We decided, let's just do things right from the very beginning. Let's just make sure that whatever is in our bottle and on our label matches, right? And we provide all documentation. We test the soil for toxicity. We test it for heavy metals and things like that. We do gas chromatography testing. We do all third-party lab testing just to make sure that the consumer is getting a safe and potent product. So it's no surprise why if you go to a dispensary or gas station, you try that CBD and it doesn't work. When you try Hempworks, it does work because we don't cut corners. We don't dilute the product. We don't put any fillers or ingredients that you can't pronounce. It's literally just a couple of ingredients. You're looking at the hemp seed oil as the carrier. We believe hemp belongs with hemp, which is why it doesn't have MCT or ethanol or any other thing blended in there. We also have the active cannabinoids. So in a full spectrum tincture, you're going to get CBD, CBC, CBN, CBD, all of that plus THC. In a broad spectrum, you're getting the full plant minus the THCs. For those of you that are sensitive to drug testing and things like that, we say get the broad spectrum. I know all friends in the EU are using the broad spectrum and still getting phenomenal results. So we do things differently, not because we have to, but because we are passionate about the product and we know that this specific formula works. So with that being said, if there's anybody else on the call right now that would love to share, I saw Tammy was on the call. We'd love to hear from you. But if not, anybody else, feel free to raise your hand and we can invite you onto this call as well. All right, Tammy is raising her hand. So go ahead, ask to unmute. Here we go, Tammy. Go ahead, take it away, girl.
Good morning or afternoon, everybody, wherever you're at. So I just have to say, that's what the passion that MDC and Hempworks has with this oil is what made me so passionate. I lived in a world where my mental well-being was not good. And it affected so many aspects of my life as a mother, a wife, a grandmother. And I was introduced to this oil 6 years ago. When I was in a very bad place, many years. I kind of share a lot of the same story as Jenna with my health, going from doctor to doctor and never getting answers. And I have to tell you guys that within the first day, I noticed differences. I noticed a feeling that just kind of came over me that was just feeling more relaxed. My sleep got better. But the biggest thing was my mental well-being. I was that person that was just like, I wanted to be an outgoing person, but I just kept holding everything in. I was afraid to go out in public, even though I tried to force myself to, because I just felt all of this. I'm trying to be compliant and it's hard. Trying to, just all these feelings of being scared, of being sad. And it just was very overwhelming. And now, guys, I feel so amazing. Like I came out of the dark into the light. It's a completely different world for me. I'm able to enjoy life. I'm able to enjoy my family. Like I said, I have 9 grandbabies and I watch them on a day-to-day. And being part of this community and using this oil consistently, and that's the key phrase, because I hear people say, well, does it work? You have to use it consistently. And it has made such a difference in how I feel mentally, in my overall health. When I started using it, all of a sudden things that I didn't realize were really bothering me that bad started getting better. So it's like it went to the areas of my body that I needed help with. And now as a 53-year-old, I feel amazing. I ride my motorcycle. I've actually spoke for at some road shows. So those fears that I had inside of me, the things that controlled my everyday life, are now beautiful aspects of my life. And it's just everything that I had went through made me stronger. And this oil literally saved my life. I'm not going to go into gory details, but it completely saved and changed my life. So when people are saying they, if they're curious about trying it, it's absolutely natural. I've looked at ingredients of other oils out there that actually scare me. So I have the trust in HempWorks. And like I said, it has absolutely changed my life.
Thank you so much for sharing, Tammy. That's incredible, and so happy that you've got such, amazing results. So one thing I wanted to touch on before we take on another testimony here, you guys have to know this about your own bodies right now. This is so important. We are all born with an endocannabinoid system, an ECS. So this is so important to know. And why does the product work? Like, everybody wants to know what is this magical oil? Like, how does it do anything? Well, did you know that we are born with cannabis receptors in our bodies already? So you have a digestive system, you have a respiratory system, you have a neurological system, a digestive, like all these different systems, they work in your body. Now, Western medicine's taught us to target one symptom, treat that, and disrupt all other systems in the body. Well, what cannabis does and what CBD does is it targets the endocannabinoid system, which is the main electrical system that balances all other systems in the body. So it's kind of interesting because you may be taking the CBD for one reason and it's going to solve a million other problems in your body you didn't even realize you had, because it's just creating that harmony within. And I think that's why people feel the mental effects of it as well, as far as calming effect. Now we have two different types of receptors within our body. We have CB1 and CB2. CB1 receptors are more going to be targeted towards the psychoactive effects, which people typically get in THC. But CB2 receptors are throughout the rest of your body. So literally that's going to be activated by all the other cannabinoids as well. So why we always say go full spectrum or go broad spectrum, if you can't go full spectrum, it's because when you have all those cannabinoids together, they work synergistically together. It creates what we call an entourage effect. And that's really where the magic is. So it's interesting because people say, it's not so much what I felt by taking the oil, it's what I didn't feel anymore because of taking the oil. So it's been life-changing for so many people. And that brings me to our next point. I would love to hear from Emily Blessing. She's on the call as well. Emily, would you feel free to unmute and tell us your story, girl? Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jenna. I am just humbled to have this opportunity to share with you all today. Amy introduced me to this plant, over 5 years ago. She was in a car accident and was using it to help her. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I've been using ibuprofen and muscle relaxers and all these other things, and I'll try it. So I bought a bottle, and the most amazing thing I think about using something like this, you guys, is that you start taking it for one reason, and then you notice it helping in so many other areas that you either didn't realize you needed help in, or that you just start to feel all of these things connect. I started to sleep better. I started to have less racing heart when things just came across my path. I really felt like I was better able to handle stress. I was more focused. I couldn't get over that one thing was helping so many things. And that is why I decided to become a voice for the plant. It led me to going back to college and getting a certification to learn more about the science behind cannabis, because I work in education and I work with lots of children that I really think can benefit from this plant. And we are really just trying to pave the way that this is something safe and effective for all. And we really just want to keep pushing, our world to change and accept this. And with that comes more research. So you're going to see all sorts of research studies that are popping up because I'm already connected to some of the people leading them. And I'm just really hoping that you all will listen to us today and really do what you can to find out about this plant. Reach out to us and let us guide you and show you all the benefits that can come from something incredibly pure. And just like Jenna said, she had to get this in people's hands, and we're so grateful. So I'm going to get it back to you and hear from some more people.
Thank you so much, Emily. And what's crazy about the science, you guys, most people don't know this, but if you look at the pharmacopoeia from the 1800s, early medicine in the United States, 90% of all medicines that were made back in the day were made from hemp. Like, most people don't associate hemp with healing. They just don't. They don't see the connection. They think hemp is for making rope and things like that. For sure, it does all that, but it also has specific cannabinoids that are amazing for a natural alternative to maybe what's out there today. It's no wonder it got banned from us. Cows used to graze on hemp in the early days. And in fact, it used to be illegal to not grow hemp, especially during the war, during World War II. So, I mean, it's just an amazing, it was $1 billion crop back then, and it's even bigger now because more and more people are waking up to the fact that you're not sick, you're cannabis deficient. And I think if we could get that message out there to more people, we would have so many more stories, coming forth. So what I want to do now is take one more short story, and then I want to share with you guys really just what sale we have going on today. So if you'd like to try this, what's the best way to get started. So let me see if Laura, if we can hear from you, Laura. I see you have your hand raised, so feel free to unmute and tell your story.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So we found hempworks actually through my husband. And back when in his younger days, he was an athlete and he was a firefighter paramedic. And as he got older through that, he started having major back discomfort, major knee discomfort, so bad that he was going to have to give up golf. God forbid, if you're a golfer and you have to give up golf, that's the end of the world. So a friend told him, you should think about taking CBD. And he's like, no, you know what? The doctor's given me this little pill and, it's taken the edge off, but never the discomfort never went away. But so what is a natural plant going to do? Because he's a big guy. And so I actually was on Facebook and I saw a Facebook friend post about CBD. And at the same time, my husband thought, you know what, I'm going to go vegan. So at the same time he started on the oil and he went vegan at the same time. A few days later, he comes bounding down the stairs. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And I go, it's that oil. He goes, no, it's because I'm a vegan. And so I'm like, no, Tom. And he goes, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to stop taking the oil and I'm going to keep being a vegan. So he stopped the oil. A few days later, of course, all that discomfort came back. And so I'm like, see, I'm always right. And so, husbands, you need to listen to your wives. There's the moral of the story. And then I didn't have any issues. So I luckily didn't have discomfort. I'm good to go. But I started learning about the endocannabinoid system. And I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody should be taking CBD, even if you don't have any issues. And so that's why I think it's important. I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months, God forbid. But it's so important that so we have to get the word out that everyone should be taking it, because you never know what issues you might be having that CBD would help you from getting, right? So I hope I'm staying compliant with all that. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So I love this company. I'm so glad that we found the holy grail of CBD the first go around, and we just stayed with it. And all you fabulous people that we've met. I mean, you guys, lifelong friends. I just love it.
Thank you so much, Laura. We love hearing your story about your hubby and also for you. You're right. I mean, CBD is for everybody. It's not just for people that are experiencing health challenges right now. So